Hi guys, welcome to the RTB Bet Predictions. I'm here with the whole team today. I'm here with John. How you doing, John?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Sean?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. I'm here with Adam as well. How you doing, Adam?
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Good. And Mixer, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, mate. Everything good with you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Glad to have the football back. So, everyone happy? Did everyone watch it last night? Shambles of refereeing decision at Sheffield.
First game I missed actually, but I saw this morning the actual shambles. There was that picture, and I think there was a tweet from Ben Foster, right? Ben Foster.
Yeah,
even.
that's right.
Yeah, he was saying, yeah, he's obviously goalkeepers union, right? So he was like, "I'll never over the line." But what happened? I didn't actually quite catch what happened. Did the technology fail, or did they even forget to bring? Did he put his Fitbit on instead of his goal line technology watch? What was the deal?
It just seemed like what's the system called? Hawkeye. It just appeared that it completely failed, and I think even at half time on the TV coverage, there was sort of footage of them outside of the refs ring, and it was almost like the referee just explaining to like the Sheffield United like staff that, yeah, well, I don't know what happened. I've got all the stuff on. It didn't alert me. And I'm assuming by that point he'd probably watched it back as well and realised how much of a blunder it really was.
Because you could see him apologising to the players as well, couldn't you?
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
That was what I thought was weird. Yeah, they showed his mouth and he was mouthing to the players, sorry. But at the end of the day, it wasn't really his fault. Like,
his hands are tied, right? He's got a procedure.
Right? It's not the ref's fault.
Yeah, he's got a procedure, right? He has to listen to his watch, right? He's obviously been given the directive that if the watch goes, the watch makes the decision, right?
Yeah, of course.
It was bound to happen, though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It was bound to happen because I mean, it's not 100% accuracy, right? I was gonna say it's only 99.9 or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, but here's a point: do you reckon the refs or the linos aren't looking if the ball goes over the line as much because the technology's there?
Definitely not. Why would you? Well, you would focus completely on what you needed to. Yeah, definitely.
But right, you reckon it's 10% less, but to me, it just seems a bit odd.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was a human error. That's the thing. Obviously, the linesman probably should have still seen it because to me it looked like the keeper was laying in the net with the ball. It wasn't Roy Carroll territory. Let's not go that far though.
Yeah. Well. I mean, it wouldn't be Sheffield United.
Yeah, let's say about
that with something to play for without some sort of controversy over points that they should have had. You do think
exactly.
It's good. Exactly. The race for Europe is going to be so tight, and if Sheffield United were to miss out by, as fine a margin of 1 or 2 points, you're instantly going to point to that decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right, so we get on to this week's fixtures. So we've been doing this bet for about a year and a half now, is it, guys?
Yeah, it's a season and a half. Start last season.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll let John take over here and explain the premise behind the bet and our history of success and failure.
Yeah, much more of the latter, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I think you'd all agree. So it was something that was, I think it was either Sean or Mixer that thought this one up at the beginning of the 2018-19 season. Each of us chooses a player from the round that, like the 10 sort of fixtures within that match day. We choose a player to score within the 90 minutes, and we put that on as an accumulator. So you can't have 2 players picked that are playing in the same game. Also, to avoid predictability and someone picking someone that's hot in form every single week, we've made a rule we've made the Mixer rule, which we'll call it, which on two occasions.
We didn't actually clear that rule up to a few months ago.
Yeah, he's taken this one about as seriously as Carl Walker's taken lockdown, to be perfectly honest. But it's just so you're not allowed to pick the same player in 2 consecutive weeks, which I will be having words with Mixer about very shortly. So we've only in what would it be 38 games last season. This is so in 57 attempts we have managed to win twice. We have had some near misses, we tend to, if three of us tend to make the correct prediction and we've got one person who messes the bet up, they're referred to as a murderer. I think most of us have all had a turn at being a murderer at this stage.
I'm the only one that's had a murder yet.
Clear of it, right? Okay. Well,
so get in.
We've got that recorded now, so it's good. We can play that back to him.
Oh no, I'm gonna live to regret that.
Like, ironically, a couple of match days back, so the 22nd of February that weekend, Adam was actually unfortunate enough to have picked Sergio Aguero. All of our goal scorers scored. So Martial for Sean, Mane for Liverpool, Raul Jimenez for myself. Sergio Aguero had a penalty at the King Power Stadium that he duly missed, which would have won us just under 65 quid. But so for that, Adam was unfortunately referred to as the murderer for that week. But just to let you in on what's happening this as it stands, we also keep a tally of who got the correct predictions. Just because if we were doing it based solely on what we were actually winning, we probably would have stopped a year and a half ago. But so I'm going to give you an update on what the table looks like currently. Now, I haven't actually looked at this prior to us recording. So as it stands, Sean, you are currently on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Keep going.
8, 9. Oh, Sean's on 9. He's still in single figures here, but it's not bad. Mixer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Keep it going. Come on.
8, 9.
Go on. Go on. One more.
Dead heat between Sean and Mixer.
Oh, that's all right.
Right. Myself. 1.
That'll do.
4, 5, 6, 7.
All right, calm down.
9, 10.
No.
11.
What?
11. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's the guy he's the guy who clicked to the data, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I've got what would you call it? Not a carbon footprint. Paper trail. I've got a paper trail.
That you wrote. Anyway,
you all contributed to a WhatsApp group.
You're just lucky. You're just lucky that we don't want to go through and verify your numbers. So we'll trust you.
I'm happy to go.
Actually, wait a minute. Let's wait a minute. Before I slate you, let's just hear how many I've got. 1 second.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that long pause indicates that you are currently bottom of the league, sir.
Obviously false data. Obviously made up. How could that be? Is that for this season, or is this for all the season?
No, this is for just this season.
That might be right because I've had a bit of a stinker this season. Actually, I'm doing a Spurs.
I can confirm that Adam has not had a correct prediction in 2020. His last correct prediction was on the last match day of 2019.
Well, I told you, I said it once, said again. 2020's been an awful year, and in fairness, a lot of the football hasn't been on for 2020. There's only been 2 months worth of football in 2020.
We're nearly on July.
So I hope that. Just to let you know, we put down a £5 stake, and we take it in turns each week to put the bet on. So whoever is the person that is putting the bet on that week goes last in terms of the picks. Whoever was last the previous week will get the first pick. So to let everyone know the order of picking for this week, it will be Sean will start us off as he was the person who last put the bet on. Adam will then be second. I will then go third. And as he's putting the bet on this week, Mixer will be the fourth choice. So, let's...
Just so we don't annoy the Mixer rule, who did we all pick last time? Or are we not counting it because it's been
I was going to say that could add to the drama if you pick someone that you've already picked, because I can just rule you out. I can overrule you on the spot. How do you want to do
it? Let's just go with, and then let us know if we pick the same player.
No problem.
Yeah. John's enjoying the power a bit too much.
Oh, man. Listen, nothing like this administrative power, you know. Okay, so without any further ado, shall we... Sean, would you like to read us this match day's Premier League fixtures?
Yeah, so we're starting from tomorrow night, so it's Friday the 19th of June. We're starting off with Norwich against Southampton, and then Tottenham v Man United. And on the Saturday then we've got Watford, Leicester, Brighton against Arsenal, West Ham against Wolves, and Bournemouth against Palace. Then on Sunday we've got Newcastle against Sheffield United, Aston Villa against Chelsea, Everton against Liverpool, and then the final game will be on the Monday, Man City against Burnley. I've got first pick this week. and I'm going to go for Tammy Abraham.
Ooh.
That's a risky one. That's a risky one. Why did you go for Tammy Abraham?
That's a risky one that I had.
Yeah,
that always happens to
everything.
Yeah, no, he's playing against his ex-club against Villa. He was there last year, done really well with them last year. So it's probably not true, but you know, when you go back to your old club, you know how they work, you know how they defend set pieces sometimes. So I'm thinking he might be able to get on the end of one of them. Also, with the news that Werner's just come into the club, I'm thinking he might want to be able to play for his place, you know, under a bit more pressure now. Also, Chelsea have a history of belting Villa. I remember certain games, I think it was 8 or 9-0 they beat them. I know it was the end of the season. And in the last 5 meetings, I think, they scored over 2 goals against them. So I've had the chance to watch Villa last night, and I thought defensively they looked quite weak. Obviously, Sheffield United played quite well, and I think they used all their luck up last night, Villa. Also, only 5 clean sheets this season, which isn't great, you know. So Chelsea, with the sort of players they've got in attack, I feel like Abraham could get on the end of one. So hopefully I can put us off. I'm on a Sunday, so hopefully one of your guys will be first and he won't murder the bet before we get to that. But yeah, that's my reason behind it, and I hope he comes up front for me, really. And who's second? Is it you this week, Adam?
I think it's me this week. Is that right, John?
It is. That is correct. Yeah.
Okay.
You, Adam.
So my choice is going to be Richarlison. The reason why I'm going for Richarlison, I'm thinking Everton, obviously the inferior team to Liverpool. I think everybody's the inferior team to Liverpool this season. Carlo Ancelotti, very, very good squad. Top manager, one of the best probably ever, actually. Has all this time to prepare. He's new to the club. He wants to get endeared to the new fans. I'm thinking it's a perfect scenario. His biggest goal there is probably Richarlison. So I think Richarlison might be my shout. I think they'll lose, but I think they'll give it a good go. And yeah, let's see.
I think Everton will be one of them teams. It will be interesting to see what they put out, because I think when you look at the league table at the moment, there's, especially after last night's results for Arsenal, there's a bracket of teams sort of from 9th to 12th where, so you've got Arsenal on 40, Burnley and Palace on 39, Everton on 37. They're effectively safe with 9 games left, but they're effectively not playing for anything much more than just really pride, because effectively you clubs like that will probably be doing a lot of swapping over within personnel. I think that, you know, this is probably the best chance to have a pre-season in preparation for what next season will bring. And it'll be a lot of players just kind of playing for their places, like we talked about with Abraham. So
I think also as well, the break probably done Everton good as well, because like Adam said about Ancelotti being a great manager, he's had time with them on the training pitch, and that's going to be such a plus for them, you know, like them players to have that much time working with Ancelotti can only make them better, surely.
Yeah, you would think so, right?
Funny thing about Ancelotti is the players always seem to like Ancelotti. Wherever he's gone, the players always seem to love him. I remember at Chelsea they loved him. I think at Paris, when he was in Paris, it didn't last very long, but that's because Real Madrid came calling. And then at Real Madrid, even when he left Real Madrid, the players loved him as well. It's very funny.
He's got the likability factor.
But I wonder what it is. Why is it the players respond to him so well? And I think it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I think him. I think there's a couple of managers that some might say they're over the hill, like him and Jose Mourinho. But I still think that those two will come good. And I think it'll be interesting. I think Everton starting next season will be a dark horse, let's say, in this whole thing.
Yeah, and to go back as well to the Werner thing, guys, because obviously that just broke today. That's a massive boost for Chelsea. Quite surprised me, actually. I think Liverpool pulled out probably fairly, because I'm not sure they're getting the team at the moment. What do you guys think about that? That's only going to strengthen Chelsea, right?
I'm absolutely gutted about that, because for 50 million, it's
steal,
an absolute steal when you think about it. I mean, he's quick, he's got goals in him. I mean, obviously I'm a Spurs fan.
Sorry, I can go.
So I
personally think that I always have Sean on this. I always have an asterisk on people that come over from other leagues. So I always say, look, they spent 50 million on this player. Doesn't mean he's a good player in our league. Our league is so different to everything else that is around Europe. It's nothing like Spain. It's nothing like Germany. It's nothing like Italy. It is completely different. So until he plays, you don't know how good of a signing it is.
I think you can also look at like what Chelsea are doing. If you look at some of the home games that Chelsea have lost this season, you know, they've dropped points against sort of West Ham, Bournemouth and Southampton all at home. And I think in all of those games, they've really they've just lacked that sort of clinical edge to sort of like really impose themselves upon like the so-called lesser teams. So I think it's a good statement of intent, because I think it is an area of the pitch in which they need some form of proven commodity, which if they're going to be in the top four regularly, they're going to have.
It's going to be interesting to see how he's deployed, how Lampard see, because this Chelsea team is going to be very different to any of the previous ones, right? With when you had your Drogba's, right? And you had your Costa as well, right? It's going to be very, very different. And I wonder how he's going to deploy these players. Is he going to be on the wing? Is he going to be up front through the middle? It'll be interesting. What does it mean for Tammy Abraham?
Definitely. Yeah, exactly. And Giroud as well. I think Giroud's sometimes forgotten about. You know, he can do a job up there. So we can see. But also, they're still in the race for top four this season as well. And obviously, the relegation battle's quite close. So I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that. Who do you think is going to get it in the top four? You know, Arsenal losing to Man City last night, that hasn't helped their chance. I've seen a lot of people say they reckon they're out of it now completely. Any ideas, guys, on who you think is going to be in top four and who's going to get relegated?
Where should we start? Relegation?
Go for it.
Go for it. Yeah.
Oh, relegation's a tough one. I might need a moment to think, but just looking at it, I'm thinking obviously Norwich. I think maybe we can see. I think Norwich. I think we can all agree Norwich are down.
Yeah, they look in trouble, don't they? Massively.
Yeah. So I'm going to sort of out my allegiance at this stage, really, because Norwich's fixture tomorrow night is very crucial. I'm not a Norwich fan, for those of you that are listening that don't know me. I'm a Southampton fan. And I'm looking at this game from a Southampton perspective. We're sitting in 14th on 34 points. Norwich, although if they beat us tomorrow night, it wouldn't mean that they would necessarily have a chance of catching us. But I'm looking at West Ham, Watford and Bournemouth all on 27 points. We've got a tough run of games coming after Norwich. So if we don't win that game, we sort of pull ourselves in, probably drop ourselves into that mix of teams that could go. In terms of, I think Norwich will go. I think it's probably a little bit too late at this stage. I think Villa are going to struggle. I don't see the cutting edge where they're going forward. I think, like Sean said, they look like they can be. I don't know. I would fancy playing Villa either at theirs or at home. Like if we had that chance before the end of the season, we don't. I do foresee a situation where the bottom three, as it currently stands, would be the bottom three that go. So Bournemouth would join them. And I think actually that could have some catastrophic consequences for them, because I don't think that as a club there's an infrastructure really set up there for dropping out of the Premier League and not coming back. And in fact, they could end up then becoming the sort of the next Leeds, Sheffield United to some extent, one of them teams that drops down and then drops back through the other trapdoor. Yeah, it could be a long road back if they
a bit like Southampton. Actually, they've done that as well, didn't they, John?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's
well, hang on. Wait. Are you saying Bournemouth? Are you saying Bournemouth will go through the trapdoor? You think?
Really?
Is that what you think?
Well, I think if they go down, like you think they're going to have to sell their best players. If I'm being honest, I think if they got relegated, Eddie Howe would do one of those things where he'd resign and then basically he'd sit around for the next 3-4 months and wait for the first Premier League job that was available and in his range. I do honestly believe if Bournemouth went down, you've got to sell the likes of Callum Wilson, Ryan Fraser. Like, what do you guys make of that? Ryan Fraser. So your club's in a relegation battle. They're on the brink. He's refusing to play for the last 9 games, and he's sitting it out and letting his contract expire.
That's a bit off, right? It's a bit off because he's under contract. It's not as if he's not under contract now.
I thought his contract ended in June.
If his contract ended, then he's well within his rights, because if he gets injured, his career's over. But if he's still under contract, then I know it's risky for him, but he should. I mean, contract means something, right? You sign a contract and you should adhere to it.
Yeah, I think this might be another one of them things where the player probably isn't being reported as well as he probably would like by agents and things like that. This sounds like more the agent coming out and saying he's not going to play rather than the player. I haven't read the story. I must say that surprised me.
Funnily enough, I read today that he wants over 100 grand a week, which I don't know. It's
Again,
a lot for,
that would probably be the agent dealing with that, though.
Exactly,
It wouldn't be the player. So yeah. I don't know about that, but looking at it, I think looks like it's going to be 2 between the 5. Would you say Villa, Bournemouth, Watford, West Ham, and Brighton?
I was going to say, if it wasn't to be anyone in the bottom 3, I actually think Brighton are the team that could drop.
Brighton. I mean, to be honest, when I saw Brighton take on Spurs, I thought no chance. But looking how far they are, or how close they are to actually relegation, I mean, they're just 1 loss away from 1 loss and Bournemouth winning to being dragged out. I think Bournemouth have got too much firepower. I think the reason Bournemouth were down there was because they were super unlucky with injuries. I mean, it was a joke how unlucky they were with injuries. I'm not sure how many players have come back from injury since then, but I remember that they lost even Nathan Ake, right, which is like their centre back linchpin.
Yeah.
I think they've got the firepower. If the injuries are start to clear up, I think they might be okay. Watford seem more than fine. Watford are definitely too good to be in there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
West Ham, I am kind of thinking you guys have got some really good players. What on earth are you doing there?
Yeah.
Well, personally, I'm looking at West Ham's fixtures now. I think they're down, if you ask me. Because
they have got some tough games coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it now. So they've got Wolves at home, tough game. Tottenham away, tough game. Chelsea at home, tough game. Newcastle away, never an easy game. Burnley at home, 6-pointer. Norwich away, 6-pointer. West Ham at home. Watford at home. No. So that's a tough game. Man United away, tough game. And their last game of the season is Villa at home, another 6-pointer. I don't think they're.
To be fair, though, at least there's a couple of games where the teams round them, though. That's the good thing. If they've got Watford and Norwich to play, they could, if they take 3 points off them, that could make a big difference.
And it does sound like the Norwich game is coming at a stage in the season where Norwich could quite conceivably be down already.
Yeah, it was a good point.
Yeah, that's
a lot of teams. To be fair though, a lot of teams when they're like relegated, like they've said they're relegated, it's a bit more freer for them, and they can play better football. They can try and do more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right. So I'm going to put you on the spot now, guys, and ask you for your bottom 3. So we'll start off with you, John.
I'm going to stay as is. Norwich, Villa, Bournemouth for me.
Right. Okay, and Adam?
I'm going to vote with my heart. So, head first, right? So Norwich, Aston Villa. Just because I just don't think they've got enough to get out, and then with my heart says, please, West Ham go down. because do you know why? Whenever they play Spurs, it's like their cup final, right? And I just don't want to see them next season. They just raise their game. It's really tough, and I want them gone. So yeah, West Ham.
We just lost our West Ham following. Thanks, Adam.
That's 2 big losses outed in this discussion.
I would go Norwich, Villa and West Ham.
Oh, he's gone West Ham as well.
I think their fixtures are too tough.
Right, okay. There's a bit of thought behind it. I like it. I'm going to agree with all of you on Norwich and Villa, but I think Brighton might drop into it. I have a funny feeling they might, yeah. I don't know why. I think Watford, if they escape this year, Nigel Pearson, what a job he's done since he's come in,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The break come at a really bad time for them, obviously, after beating Liverpool.
But
I don't know why. I've just got a funny feeling. Looking at Brighton's last few games, they've drawn, lost and drawn. They're not picking up wins, so that's a bit of a worrying sign. Whereas every other team around them, apart from Villa, has picked up a win here and there. And that could be a massive thing. And we'll go to now the top 4, which is there's a lot of teams up there competing as well. Any ideas, guys? What are you thinking?
I think one of the big talking points with the top 4 race at the moment is, we just talked about maybe for Watford, the break coming at a bad time. What an advantageous time for a 3-month break to come for the likes of Tottenham and Man United, because you look at Spurs and let's face it, they were struggling at the point where we finished up. And all of a sudden, Son's back in the mix. Son and Kane are going to start against United tomorrow. They're saying today. So there's that. Man United, they've now got the benefit of a fit and a fit and reinvigorated Marcus Rashford. Very telling for what they can offer. The possibility of this potential Pogba and Fernandes partnership that's being sort of lauded as well at the moment. So
he's looked very good, since he's come in. Very, very good.
Yeah, and you do sort of look and think, if Chelsea have a start, then, and I'll be perfectly honest with you. I know they're a bit further ahead. I don't think Leicester's cut and dried yet, and that might be
I agree.
Opinion.
Yeah,
but Leicester could well find themselves falling foul of it as well. So I've got a feeling Man United are going to squeak it into fourth. I think Spurs could push them close. I think Sheffield United will fall away. Wolves, I can't really see breaking sort of. They could possibly crack the top six. I think that's about their ceiling this year. And for some reason, I've not said a word about Chelsea, who are 3 points clear at this stage. Okay.
Yeah. Do you think Arsenal are out of it, John?
100%. I don't think they were in it to begin with, if I'm being perfectly honest. But
I have to. I mean, looking yesterday, you kind of have to agree. But the thing is, though, Arsenal I'd probably describe them as flat track bullies. Like they're going to pick up the points against the weaker teams. Yeah, to be honest with you, Man City are probably going to beat most teams now, whoever they face. I'm glad Spurs got the 4 points off of them like they did, because I reckon if they face them now with a fully fit squad, they're going to be in trouble, right? Yeah. Wolves, I don't think you can discount Wolves. Wolves are a very, very good shout, I think. But I mean, first things first, obviously Liverpool are gone, so I think that's a safe bet.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Man City are also gone as well. Do Leicester have enough points? Is the question.
Well, Leicester have got 53. Chelsea have got 48. Man United, who are fifth, have got 45. Sheffield United 44. Wolves 43. Tottenham 41. Arsenal 40.
Yeah, that's a big gap, isn't it?
I'm expecting Spurs to come back really strong. I mean, the Spurs team that we saw before Christmas, before the Corona break.
Tottenham's last game was Leipzig, and Spurs had players unfit.
Yes.
Leipzig.
Yeah. Leipzig.
Sorry.
Leipzig. Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, you're right. You're spot on. It was. Yeah, and the injury list was crazy, and I'm just thinking, you get Heung-min Son back, you get Sissoko back, you get Kane back, obviously. You add those other players that were in there playing pretty well, like Bergwijn, for example.
Fernandes, Bergwijn, the Celso. Yeah. You might have a knock for tomorrow night.
For me,
I'm sure yet.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if Ndombele and Lo Celso are fit and pulling the strings in midfield, Tottenham have got a great chance. I don't think Man United have got it, so I'm probably going to go. So my one would be, just to wrap up. Sorry, my one would be Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, and Spurs. I reckon Leicester are going to bail.
Right. Okay. Fair
Can
enough.
I just ask a question to the Spurs contingent in here? What if by Saturday evening, Man United have pulled off a win over Spurs at the Lane, and Chelsea have also won, and that would then leave you 10 points. That would then leave Spurs 10 points outside. Is it still doable with 8 games left?
I think tomorrow night's a massive game, isn't it? I think it's huge. For me, Man United can afford to draw that game, whereas Spurs, I think, have to win it. So you're right. It's going to be a completely different picture this time Saturday, and I think it could be decided. Because I was listening to Arsenal Fan TV. I know we all watch it, so I'm going to give them a shout out. And they said there's 9 games left for them to finish in the top 4. Now they're going to have to win 8 of them. And they were saying they don't think Arsenal can do that. And to be honest, if Spurs were to lose tomorrow, I think we'd have to win 8 of our last 9 as well. Yeah, 8 of our last 9.
Well, it'd be 8 of 8, wouldn't it?
8 out of 8, sorry. Yeah, and again, I can't see Spurs doing that. They're just so inconsistent, I think all of the teams in the race are quite inconsistent, to be honest. So that's what makes it such a good race. So I'm looking forward to it, but also dreading it, to be honest. At the same time.
Man United's next 2 games, they've got Tottenham away Sheffield United at home. Not give me, right? Not give me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I just can't say. I think Man United. Fernandes has turned them around. Fernandes, you're right. Fernandes has turned them around. It's just I still don't feel that everything's all right over there. I feel like yeah. I think Spurs are a better team.
Ooh, mix up. What are you thinking?
Well, obviously it's hard because Spurs are in the race, and I'm looking at the table now, and the goal difference between Chelsea and Man United is they've got 14 and 12 respectively. Tottenham have got 7. That's a massive factor. It's 7 points the difference, which ain't too bad. Spurs have got to play United, Arsenal, Wolves as well, I think. So tomorrow night will be very interesting. If they come out all guns blazing, they could have a run. We all know Tottenham can have a run that just goes on and on and on. I think it will help not playing in front of a crowd, Tottenham. I really do. There's a lot of negativity with the fans at the moment just because of, I think, everything that's happened this season. I.e. with the manager, the last manager going last year, Mourinho's style of football. The other thing I'd say is he's had 2 months preparation with them to get his philosophy, his style over to them. He can drill them every day. They know how he wants them to play, and we all know Mourinho's teams win games. You know, I think there was a stage when Liverpool were top by a few points. I don't know if it was he manager them when Chelsea won the league that year. I can't remember if he was. But anyway, so going back even further, like he had about 10 games left with Chelsea, and they had to get down like 4 or 5 points on Man United or something. And he said, "Look, we've got 10 games left. This is what we've got to do," and they did it. And I think if you feel better for the players, and you think the break's done them great, they've got Lo Celso, they've got Ali, they've got their midfield is a joke.
Yeah, the one thing to say on Mourinho, I must say, I know we're talking a lot about Spurs, but obviously we support them, so it's hard to get away from. But
well, top 4
Mourinho,
and Spurs are pretty synonymous, right? And then you got the same with Arsenal and top 4 as well. So
yeah, exactly.
That's where the conversation will go.
Like with the whole Mourinho thing, we must say is like the whole of the lockdown. Spurs fans, I know some Spurs fans are quite torn on him, but he's given the whole of this lockdown to the club. You know, he's been training every day. He's been living there. He hasn't quarantined with his family. He's quarantined with the coach and stuff. So really, no one can fault him for that. So he's put 100% into it. Let's just see what the results are, I suppose.
I'm telling you, man, he didn't have the equipment, right? I mean, sometimes a bad workman blames his tools, but he didn't have the equipment, right? He was trying to play up to Lucas, who is a small guy, right? You know, and using him as a target man.
I think he was one of our best players. While Kane was out, I think Lucas Moura worked so hard. Deserves a lot of credit for what he probably people wouldn't have seen.
Yeah,
I think he deserves a lot of plaudits. Lucas Moura.
So, who are you putting in your top 4 mixer? Tottenham getting in?
It's hard. So obviously you got Liverpool and Man City. I think that's done.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Leicester. Got it. Chelsea, Tottenham.
Okay.
Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Tottenham.
Okay.
What about yourself?
Very nice. Yeah, obviously Liverpool, Man City gone.
Yeah, that's done.
Liverpool win the league, obviously. I'm the same as John. I've got my suspicions about Leicester. I think Brendan Rodgers has done a great job, obviously, and the recruitment there. I think some of the players they brought in, Pereira at right back, I think has been brilliant. Ndidi, I know that he's been there for a while, but Ndidi's what a great player he is. The goal difference is massive. I won't mention why their goal difference is massive. Sorry, John.
I've no idea what you're talking about, mate.
But actually, do you know what? Looking at it with 9 games to go, I would say Leicester are going to stay there. I don't think they'll finish 3rd. I think they'll finish 4th. And I actually think Man United are going to finish 3rd.
Really?
Wow.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I'm throwing it in there. I think, like we said earlier, like they've got Spurs and Sheffield United. So if they win them 2 games, I think they've cleared away from us 2. To be honest, I know there'll only be what would that be? 4 points clear then of Sheffield United. But I agree with John again. Like, I think Sheffield United will drop out of it. I think Spurs will pick up. I do worry though after watching last night's game with the Arsenal injuries. You know, like I think we've all talked about it on our WhatsApp group. You know, like the difference between match fitness and fitness. And 100%. I think a lot of the Spurs players, it's been a long time since they've actually played a match.
I'll say this though, sorry to interject, but with those injuries last night, I think 2 of the 3 weren't because of not playing for months. The head injury could have happened in any game, and the Xhaka one, where he connected with his own player, the impact injuries, you don't get them because I don't think they're because of having 3 months off. I think they're just back of the back and midway through a season anyway. So I think it's a bit.
Yeah. But the Xhaka one, didn't he roll his foot in the turf, Xhaka? I don't think it was in the impact. But like you're right, it could have happened. It could happen to anyone. But I just think muscles and strains are going to happen a lot more. There was a.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're 2 games in for crying out loud. It's like it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I think also, like, sorry, Sean, just to add one more thing. What your point about fitness and match fitness, that's going to be a real telltale sign at both ends of the table, because I think the clubs with maybe potentially smaller squads or more limited squads or fitness levels that aren't up to it, it's going to have a massive impact.
Definitely. And like on that, what do you guys think about the 5 subs? I know we see it last night. Obviously, it helped Arsenal out in a way last night. Maybe not the David Luiz sub, but the other 3. Like, do you agree with it, disagree with it, or have no opinion on it?
They need to do it, right? I'm terrified for Ndombele here because I don't know whether he's going to last 10 minutes. Because getting that match fitness, but I mean it needed to be done. What I didn't like at all was Man City pretty much made 4 or 5 subs at the end.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me a little bit like a friendly, and it was like friendly. And then do you remember you'd watch? Sometimes we'd watch these England matches, and it would be such a great game for about 60 minutes, and then you'd see like five subs, and then it becomes so disjointed because the players weren't up.
Absolutely.
Definitely. But then to play devil's advocate, people like Phil Foden are getting opportunities now because of the rule. So like, it's. I know what you mean though. Like the last 15 minutes of that game, you could have just not watched it. It was just so boring to watch. But maybe not for a Man City fan. But just take the tempo out of the game completely. Like, definitely.
I think my only issue with it.
Sorry, go on, John.
Go on for it. Go for it, Mixer.
I was going to say, like, the interesting thing on the flip side was the problem that Arsenal had, because they had 2 injuries in the first half. They had to make a substitution at half time, but they didn't. So then, if they were going to make 1 more sub, they could make 3 or 1. It was kind of interesting what Arteta was going to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the tactics behind
obviously,
it. Obviously,
you're only allowed to make the substitutions in 3 stages of play or half time. So it does make it is a bit of a chess move as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not even going to talk about the water breaks because that's just an absolute sham. I don't understand it. But
no, to be fair though, it's the middle of June. Remember, we don't play football in the middle of June.
It was a thunderstorm last night.
Let's talk about it this time next week when it's going to be in the late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah, 28.
So,
yeah.
I don't know, mate.
I mean, water breaks. Water breaks are quite important, especially when it gets above. I mean, when you're playing sports, I've obviously set up my own sort of amateur football league. Yeah, at a certain level, I'll have to find the guidance, but at a certain heat, a certain temperature, the body overheats, right, and it becomes dangerous. So if we're talking about, making sure the players are safe when they're coming back to sort of avoid injuries, the first thing that happens is fatigue, right, and your muscles become tired. If you're dehydrated, they're more likely to get injured, right. So I think it's a good precaution to have, right.
Normally hungover as well. That doesn't help, I must say.
I was going to say, yeah.
All right, if we move on now to third choice. Who was third? You, John.
That would be me, my
We're
friend.
back to the bet now, are we?
But back to the bet at long last. I was just going to say one last thing on the substitutions is that being a Southampton fan, Ralph Hasenhüttl, as much as I love the guy, he didn't always know when to make a sub when he had only 3 of them. So I'll be interested to see what he does when he's got 5 at his
Mourinho will love it. He can do anything.
I was just thinking actually with exactly that, right? Jose Mourinho with 5 substitutions is going to be quite deadly actually, because he makes very decisive subs.
Spurs' bench as well at the moment, with how many great players they've got off the bench.
Provided Ndombele stays fit, yeah, I agree.
Always keep one sub back to Ndombele. Remember that.
Oh. So, in relation to the bet, guys, I've had to draw for my second pick because I've had to make a second pick because I wasn't anticipating Sean going for Tammy Abraham. So I've had a look at the table and I'm trying to look for teams that I think are going to concede goals, and if they're playing teams where I think there are particular players that are going to really profit from that. I'm looking at West Ham and thinking, actually, do you know what? With fans, without fans, I think they're there for the taking, and I really believe that Raul Jimenez is going to benefit from that. So I'm going Raul Jimenez. He's a respected marksman for the bet. He actually scored the winning goal that won us our first bet. So I'm going to go with my heart there. I nearly opted to go for something else, but I might wait for Mixer to make his pick so that I don't influence him.
Nice. See, this is the problem with going last. You have to kind of relook at the game. So of the games I've got left, I've got Norwich, Southampton, Tottenham and United, Watford, Leicester, Brighton, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Palace, Newcastle, Sheffield United, Man City, Burnley. Now, when you're last, the problem with picking the last game is if everyone's bet comes through, you're so nervous if the last game.
Yeah, absolutely been there.
Well, to be honest with you, looking without the crowd atmosphere, it might be the atmosphere that you need.
I'll be sitting there on Tinder,
and it's always dodgy to go for the Friday night games or the 12:45 games because you kill a bit early. So.
Yeah, true. Very true.
It's true. Then there's no anticipation, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So,
right.
Have you made your mind up?
I have, and it might be a bit predictable, but I think he's not played in 6 months. He's been gagging at the bit. I'm going to go Kane.
Fair enough, mate. I'm surprised you've gone for a Spurs player, if I'm honest, because I do think that it's much the same reason that I didn't pick Danny Ings. And I was looking at us playing Norwich, and I thought Danny Ings is sort of like in the hunt for the Golden Boot this year in terms of like the Premier League. And I thought, you know what, Norwich, I've already made him captain of my fantasy football team, which I'm instantly regretting. But it's betting for someone that's in a game that you're already that invested in is quite a risky business. But
I have thought of another player, so I might. This is the problem.
Swing your Mix. By the way, Mitch, you will have to go onto the betting app and let us know how much this would win us.
I've already done it.
Sure. Thank you, Sean.
Yes, I've been doing it as we've been talking. So through the game, are you sticking with Harry Kane before I?
My head says I'm going to change.
I'm
disappointed.
Right.
Remember this. Mark this down.
Yeah. Right.
My team's got a hat-trick now. I hope he does. I don't know why, but Arsenal are in trouble. I'm going to go Mooney from Brighton.
Maupay, you mean?
Maupay, sorry. My apologies. Yeah.
Neil Maupay, yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think the odds just went up a bit.
They did.
Very true. Very true.
I've been on the Neil Maupay bus before.
Yeah. Right, so we've got Richardson against Everton, which is a 12-5 shot, which isn't quite good odds, really. Everton at home. My Tammy Abraham shouts 5-6. Raul Jimenez is 7-5, and Neil Maupay 15-8. So the 5-fold this week is 42-1, which would pay out 215 quid.
Oh, is that bang on 215?
Well, it's 42.01, so it's 215 and 5p to be exact.
There we go. To be exact, I do keep the exact notation of what we would have won down to the penny.
Well, you haven't had to keep much then, have you?
No. It's easy maths. I love it.
And we're pretty much to a negative
Kane
what?
doesn't score,
Negative.
Kane does.
Yeah,
He's going to rip me apart.
Oh, if Kane scores now and Maupay doesn't,
And Maupay doesn't, and it kills the bet. Oh.
Right, I think that's it. I think we're wrapped up now. So
I'll say.
until next week. Cheers, guys.
Until next week,
Speak to you later.